Joy explosion activation. So to begin this activation, it's useful to make sure you have a few moments to just receive. This is not a meditation. This is an actual activation that will bring in shifts, changes into your life and your living. So to begin, joy explosion is kind of it even just feels like a wow, a really good feeling actually. I knew they wanted to bring in joy, but I love joy explosion. So it's useful right now as you close your eyes to recognize where joy is for you right now in your life. Is it a feeling? Is it a thought pattern? Is it an idea? 1 being not so much joy and 10 being off the hook joy. Kind of get a reference for where that is for you today. Sometimes we can feel off the hook joy one day and not the next. So sometimes we might just be looking for some consistency in the joy explosion. So find that reference for yourself. Give it a number. And you also may feel this in your physical body. You may feel it as something just around you, draping over you. You may feel it as something that's rising up within you. You may even just see it as something. Or you may just not even have a reference for it at all, and you don't have to. So, as you have that reference for yourself, we're going to bring in the first word they wanted me to bring in, which was expectation. And what I'm getting with this word right away is almost, even though the word expectation sometimes can feel like, boy, don't do that, because you'll limit yourself, sometimes is the thinking. Or for others, they live their life like that constantly, expecting good things always. So wherever that reference is for you doesn't really matter. I'm just going to bring in what they want to shift to bring about this joy explosion with the word expectation. And the first thing I'm feeling is like, I feel like I'm organizing things in your life. Like I'm bringing like when you need to go in and kind of reorganize your cabinets or reorganize your closet, or you have a project and you need to get it lined up, etc. So I'm actually just putting things in order. Whatever this is, I'm putting things in order all around you. So it's almost like lining things up and organizing. And I want you to know that as I'm doing this, none of these things that are being organized are fixed. They all are undulating potential, have very strong vibrational energies to them. In other words, wherever they're being placed here by Spirit right now, they are in a place of expectation. That's the word. So that they'll just pop up like Jack in the Box, just pop up, boom, there you are, boom, there you are, and that's really useful. I like that feeling. So they're just bringing in all that organizational energy, and they're doing that all for you. The next word they're bringing in is foraging. Foraging can be like having to go out and look for what you want, or for others, so there can be some persecution energy around that, like if I want it, I always have to go do it. Or there can be for others, in order to have change or joy, you have to forage it, you have to nurture it, you have to build it. Okay? So however this shows up, I'm going to let Spirit do the heavy lifting. So as I bring in the word foraging, it's almost like they're showing me a tree. I like it that foraging is almost like forest. They're bringing a tree, and it's a tall pine tree, and they're bringing in a lot of earth around this tall pine tree. It's like I'm building up a lot of fresh earth energy around this tall pine. And that feels really useful. And actually, I'm just going to touch into the energy of this tall pine. I want you to know that this tall pine is actually a spirit guide that stepped forward here to actually bring in this energy for all of us. So I'm going to touch into the freshness, the nuance, and the cleanliness, he's saying, of his energy. And we're just going to tap that into your third eye. I'm going to do a couple taps into the third eye. There. We'll let that do what it needs to do. And then the next word they brought in was hope. So I hope I feel joyful. I'm hoping things are joyful. Joy is always something that I hope for. However, hope comes in for you around joy. All right, so let's work with hope. What I'm seeing with hope is like a drum, a Native American drum is coming in. I'm loving that these Native American teachers are coming in for this. So this drum is coming in, and I'm actually beating on this drum, and it's like I'm bringing in these strong, and this is a very earthy kind of deep drumming energy that's coming forward, and I'm bringing this energy in. And so as I'm bringing the energy in for you, you may feel it right through your, I want to say through your esophageal area, which is right at the beginning of your rib cage where they come in together, through your lung and throat area. So through this esophageal area, they're bringing in this energy. So one hand is drumming, the other hand is bringing the energies forward as they're coming in. It's almost like building your power up. They're saying, or power. Okay, thank you. They're saying powering you up. So they're powering you up. They're bringing that energy in. Yeah, that feels really useful. Then the next word they wanted to bring in was total awareness. So what's coming up for total awareness is they're showing me snippets of your life. Let's say if we were doing a life review on a film strip, and they're taking snippets out and they're kind of putting them up in front of me. There's almost like there's 3 specific ones I'm getting for everybody. I'm actually going to bring the energy of all 3 of those together, almost like blending it into one. And as I'm doing that, it's almost as though I'm feeling like sometimes when our energy gets really scattered, we need to come back to our center. And so for whatever reason, these 3 snippets are really useful. They're coming together into one and bringing you back into your center. So I'm bringing that energy in, and they're saying to put that in I'm putting that in your left ear. And so for some of you, you might hear a musical note or see a musical note because that's how it's flowing in for me. Then the next word is actually joy, the joy explosion. Sometimes we want to quantify or qualify our joy, or we feel we have to process to have joy. Have you processed that yet? And I'm not saying not to process things in your life, because that's not what they're saying. However, joy is coming in for you with what I've shared is useful for you. What I'm seeing with joy is like I feel like I see it kind of coming out and flowing, and it's flowing in front of me almost like a spiral, right out in front of me, almost like a coil that's coming out, and it's actually a copper coil, they're saying, and it's like flowing and flowing and flowing, and it's like there's energy flowing through that, and that feels really useful. And the way they said joy explosion, they said, was useful also because they wanted to just, they don't want us to have to kind of itemize and categorize everything. They said we just want to explode, just explode, let this stuff pour out everywhere. So we're just going to allow this explosion of joy to come out all around you. And the way it's showing up is it's coming out all around your auric field. Think of it as like the rings of Saturn. Those rings of Saturn. This is out all around your auric field. These beautiful rings of this joy explosion are coming in as a, I want to say almost as magnetizing. There's a couple rings out here. If you see more than one, or you feel or sense more than one, that's fine. But it's almost like bringing you into a beautiful, sort of a steady place of being in resonance with joy. And joy exploding in front of you all the time. So I want you to know, somebody had mentioned something about grounding people when we're done with these activations because they felt pretty loopy. I want you to know that I don't always want to take you back to where you were. So it's going to be very common to not feel the same and to feel different. That's okay. But if you feel the need to ground, you can simply visualize roots from your feet. So you can visualize these roots going down into the earth, all the way down deep, deep, deep. I like to connect to the core of Mother Earth, to her beautiful crystalline heart. And just allow yourself to be in resonance with these new energies and these new frequencies. Enjoy this activation. Allow the joy explosion to continue to show up. Notice where it shows up. If you want to go back to your reference of how the joy felt in your body, around your body before we began, and notice the change or the difference, that's useful. But just notice how joy shows up naturally and easily. Namaste. Thank you so much.